So this little Hearthstone chat was originally part of a podcast, which annotation on screen now. Whoa! If you want to listen to whatever else we talked about during the podcast, go there. It's enjoyable, I guess. Some people tell me. I don't know. But yeah, here's Hearthstone Talk. Do it. Boom.
So you wanted to talk about the fucking Hearthstone cards coming out. There's
Yes,
a fuck ton of them.
cards. Yeah, there are. Let's just talk about the ones that recently got, like, the most recent batch.
1 mana, 1/1 legendary.
Yeah. You just
Apparently it's good.
Yeah. Alright, so what the card does, hang on. It's called, Shifter Xeris. 1 mana, 1/1 legendary. Each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a random minion. That is great.
Objectively not good. Objectively.
But it is good.
Not objectively.
Most of the time, you're going to get some value out of this.
Although...
What does this do again?
It basically...
1 mana, 1/1. Each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a random minion. Now, it goes across classes as well.
Well, he doesn't know. Basically, it can turn into any card, any monster in the game anyway, any minion.
Any playable minion, anyway.
And it costs the same amount as that minion would cost. So if you get this card in your first hand and it turned into a fucking 10 mana 12/12, guess what? You can't play it. Oh, and the next turn it turned into a fucking 6 mana 5/5. Can't play that. It basically is only useful at like the later stages of the game. And even then, at that point, it could turn into a 0 mana 1/1. You don't know.
Yes, but at the same time, it could also turn into a 10 mana 12/12.
At turn 10.
So, it's just an incredibly situational card is what I'm hearing.
It's a situational card you cannot account the situation for. Yeah.
All you do is play a control
most situational cards don't get played anyway, it is objectively a horrible card.
All you do is play a control deck and wait for it to be a good card, and you're good.
Here's the thing, though. Simple. In a control deck, you can have a better card that is consistent. Consistency is key to control decks. To most decks. To every deck, consistency is key.
What about Elise?
Except for a random deck. That's where consistency is not key.
What about Elise Starseeker? She literally gives all random legendaries.
Objectively, not a great card. However, if you get up to, Golden Monkey, the amount of legendaries there are, most of them fall into the higher mana cost and better effects anyway. So you can already know, okay, this is pretty good. That's pretty different. But if it was like Golden Monkey, change every minion to a random playable minion, no one would play Golden Monkey. That's just because it is objectively horrible. Just like this minion. It's objectively horrible. Is it fun? It's fun. I'm going to play it if I get it in my 13 packs. But it's objectively dog shit.
It can fit any situation.
But you can't account for the situation.
But you can. Okay, so theoretically, you
I'm going to put this card in to fill my 4 mana slot.
But listen to me. Just listen to me. But experimentally, this card is going to be great.
Experimentally?
All right, so
when does this,
you know the difference between theoretical and experimental probability.
Wait, what, Chris?
When does the card change?
At the start of your turn.
Yeah, so you have it in your hand, and when you end, it turns to your turn again, the minion changes. It keeps changing regardless of the minion it changes into, so every turn it changes.
But you could play it as a 1/1 useless thing first.
You could play it for tempo if you really want.
It's not tempo.
It is
You get no tempo from that.
It's a 1 mana 1/1. It beats out Paladin.
Literally, fucking 3 classes of hero powers that directly counter it.
You could still play it for tempo. Is the thing, though.
Let's not even argue that, because that's not a point.
You can
the
play
thing,
for tempo.
though, is you tried to defend this thing objectively, saying it can fill a slot. Fuck you, it cannot fill a slot. You know, it potentially can.
Easily.
Potentially,
Easily.
Potentially, but you cannot account for that.
This easily fits a slot, and
Okay,
even if
tell me
it's
this,
only
though.
like Ascension Shieldmaster,
Here's what I want. I want a 4 mana cost. I want a 4 mana cost card in my deck. I'm gonna put this in to fill a 4 mana cost. Tell me right now, I'm gonna 100%
no,
at when I need
that's
gonna
not,
get a 4
that's
mana
not
card.
the point of the card.
And then it's objectively not as good as any other card.
No, here's what you do with Shifter Xeris. You put it in. That's it. That's all you need to do. And then you just
And
wait
it's
for
still
it
an
to be
objectively
something
horrible
good.
card.
All you do is wait for it to be good, and you're great.
Yeah, guess
All you
what?
do
It can
is
continue to
wait
be
for it.
Yeah. You can,
All
what
you
if it never does?
wait for
What if it never does? It is more than likely never going to be good than it will be good.
No, it's
And
more
guess
than
what?
likely going to be
If
good.
you
'cause
just don't play fucking,
most
if you just
minions
don't
are
fucking play it,
most
you can
minions
fit in
in
a
the
card
game
that
are
is
good. What are you
objectively good.
talking about?
Shut the fuck up. If you
shut
don't
the
play,
fuck up.
No,
Most
you don't
minions in the game are good.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Even if
No.
you're only playing it for the stats, it's still a good card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 1/1
Fucking-
stats. The 1/1 stats.
No,
only
the
one
stats of the
turn.
minion it would be.
It could potentially turn into itself, which would be pretty funny. But here's the thing, though. You can't account for it. You cannot say, this card is good because I'm going to get this. You can't, ever.
No,
It's
that's
random.
That's not what I'm
Wait,
trying
hold
to
on.
say here.
Hold on. Let's talk about the real thing. So, I know there's like rarities. And there's like 2 rarities in there. Does it like if you have it in like the gold whatever rarity and it's sweet?
That's
cool,
just
and
cosmetic.
animated? No, but if it's in that rarity, does it change into another?
Yep.
When it changes card, it changes to.
It'll
oh,
always
that's
be
cool.
gold.
It would be another golden card.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
that's
like how a
fantastic.
priest has a card called Thought Steal, which steals cards from the opponent's deck. Well, it doesn't steal them. It takes a copy of cards from the opponent's decks. If you play a golden Thought Steal, the cards you get will be golden regardless if your opponent has them golden or not. So yeah, cards work like that.
The thing with Shifter Xeris is that you play it to have its effect. It can fit any situation.
Its effect is dog shit.
Its effect is great.
No,
Its effect is not
really-
reliable. Would you
It's
play
a
a
really.
Yu-Gi-Oh? Like Chris, would you play a Yu-Gi-Oh card that said at the beginning of your fucking turn change into a random fucking minion? Fuck no.
In
Random
Hearthstone, I would play a card that has charge, Wind
No.
Fury with 4,000 attack. I could easily kill the
Hey,
enemy.
hey, how about
It
this?
seems
How about if you had like a
it's an
0.1%
asinine
chance to
comparison.
get Wind Fury? Hey, how about
Like-
like this? A minion
It's
that
an
has
asinine
Wind Fury
comparison.
battle.
You can't make that
Shut the fuck
comparison.
up. What if you had a minion that had Wind Fury, Battle Cry, Charge, Death Rattle, but only got them 0.1% of the time when you played it?
What?
I know
How-
50,000 points in Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist.
The card is just objectively horrible. No one can argue that because it is objectively horrible.
No,
It-
it's not though.
It's just very situational. Is like I can
The
imagine.
thing is, though, yeah,
but the thing is,
situational.
though,
Except
in a control,
shut the
in a
fuck up.
control scenario, situational works.
No, it doesn't.
It's
Yes, it does.
No, it's
Why
know
do
what
you
works
think
better?
Priest?
Consistency.
Why do you think Priest won Entomb? Entomb is very situational.
No, it's not. It's
Yes,
literally an assassinate.
It is. No, it's better than assassinate because with an assassinate,
is.
if your opponent is running a death rattle minion, it activates the death rattle. If you entomb
What?
it, the death
Are
rattle
you an
doesn't
idiot?
happen.
Okay, let me talk to you this calmly.
Okay. Entomb is very situational.
Hold on.
You want to
God.
use it. You only want to
I'm
use it
going-
on cards with death rattles.
I'll be
What?
back.
Okay,
I'm gonna go do stuff.
Fucking,
so I'll be
if I'm trying to explain something, please shut the fuck up. Entomb is literally an assassinate that doesn't trigger death rattle. It's literally just, hey, this minion now goes into my deck. It's basically mind control, but puts into the deck. If you're trying, like, that's consistent, though. It's not random. If it put a random minion in, that'd be fucking sabotage. No one plays fucking sabotage.
But it's still situation. You want it in the
It's-
situation
it's
where
a
your
ton
opponent
less
has
situational.
a death rattle minion.
Here's the thing, though. Situational is not a general term. Situational, every card in this game has a fucking unknown value of situational, so to speak. Something is less situational than something else. Something is more situational than something else. Entomb is a lot less situational than a minion that changes itself every turn.
But the thing is, the
Entomb
changing
is hard
what
removal.
the changing.
You're comparing a hard removal card to a card you literally can't control any aspect of.
You can control when you play it, which is the power of
No,
the
you
card.
can't!
Yes, you can!
Okay, turn 1, play Deathwing. Fucking do it, I dare you.
Alright, innervate, coin, done.
That's not 10 mana!
I know.
Literally tell me how you play it. Oh yeah, it's fucking playable every turn?
Well, then you don't play it at that time. In a
There's a
control
variable
deck,
you can't
in a
control.
control deck. Oh, I don't have enough mana to play Deathwing on this turn where Deathwing would have won me the game. Okay, cool. You can say that if you really want to.
It doesn't matter. You
But
keep
that's
bringing
not
up
the
control
point
decks.
of the card.
Here's what fucking... You wanna know what the fucking point of control decks is?
You don't play
Consistency.
any minions in the beginning if you're running control decks.
What?
You use your spells to control the board.
Let me ask you something. What to you is a control deck?
Control warrior. You don't play any low-cost minions. You play high-cost minions that give you armor, health, that kind of stuff. You use spells to clear the board. Not minions, spells.
Okay, now let me give you an example. Fucking Shield Bearer. The fucking 6 mana 5/5. I think it's... No, it's not Shield Bearer.
Shield
It's fucking...
Maiden.
Shield Maiden. Alright, Battlecry. Give yourself 5 armor. 50% of the time. Would you play it?
What do you mean?
Let's change Shield Maiden's text. You get 5 armor 50% of the time. It's a fucking basically an Orga Brutes effect. Like you play it, Battlecry, 50% chance to happen. Is it now a control card? No. Because the variable is not controllable. Hey, how about you fucking remove all your weapon effects and give them just the Ogre Maul effect? You can't control where you hit. Are they a control deck? No.
So,
If
are
you
you guys
can't
still
control the
arguing over
variable,
whether
you can't control. You're trying to say, I'm going to control
Yep.
make a control deck with fucking chaos.
But
which
the
doesn't
difference... The
It's
difference...
literally counterintuitive.
The difference...
You guys are still
Like
arguing
The
over
difference between something like Shield Mating and something like Shifter Xeris is that in a control deck, you can wait for Xeris to actually be good in that situation. Like, let's
No,
say
you
you
can't.
need... Yes, you can.
Because
Because
literally
if you're
waiting
playing a
guarantees that you're
control
not going to have
deck-
the same thing.
If you're playing a control deck, that literally
Hey,
means
guess what?
you're
Guess
waiting
what?
till the
Guess what?
end game and just controlling the
starts-
board so that way you can win at the end game.
Hey, Golden Monkey. I can wait out Golden Monkey until I can use it, and I can use the control cards I want and then play Golden Monkey, and I can control that. I cannot control what this minion will be and when. There's no consistency. There's no control.
You're not supposed to control what it's gonna be. You're supposed to use it in the situation when it's good. And most of
And
the
it's
time,
never-
you're gonna...
And here's the thing, though. It's not ever guaranteed to be good. Therefore, it is objectively horrible by definition.
Literally every random card in the game is never guaranteed to be good.
And that's objectively horrible.
But something like Knife Juggler, that's
There's
a
nothing
random
to
card,
argue.
is still
All I'm
played.
All I'm saying about this card is it's objectively, and I'm going to say it again to you, objectively horrible. Because you cannot control what it is. It doesn't matter if that's the point or not. Objectively, this card is shit because of that.
Okay, you can say that, sure.
And that's a
You can
fact,
say that
though.
all you-
Because that's
it's
what
not
everything
a fact,
is.
though.
It is a fact. Because if you can't control it, and you can ask anyone, this whole game is fucking driven by consistency. If a card is less consistent than another, it's worse. That's exactly how it works. You know why fucking Bolster is bad? Because you don't normally have... Well, there's a few reasons for that. But especially like in Arena. Because you can't consistently get taunts. It might be better in a constructed thing, but that's because you can pick them. You can consistently have that. Consistency is the entire point of Hearthstone.
What about something
The entire
like
point. Entire point of constructed,
Recombobulator
anyway.
or Master of Evolution? Those are random cards.
Recombobulator's not been played since the beginning of fucking
Or
when it came
Piloted
out.
Shredder, even.
Hmm?
Like, that's a completely
Piloted
random
Shredder?
card. Yeah, that can
Piloted
completely
Shredder
screw
is
you over.
objectively
But
bad.
the time...
Shut the fuck up
But
if
the
I'm trying to
time
say
when
something.
it
You're asking me
screws you-
questions and not letting me answer.
Well, I'm elaborating on the question. So let me.
Well, I'm answering
finish,
the question.
Well,
so
let
you're
me
not
finish
fucking
asking the question before you answer.
You did.
I
You
did.
said, "What
though.
about piloted shredder?"
Yes, and then I was going to
It's only-
elaborate
you asked me
on
a question
the
I'm
pilot
not gonna
shredder
answer.
situation. I was going to add context to it. All right.
Yeah, but you're gonna do it wrong.
There's a less than 1% chance that you can get a Doomsayer from a piloted shredder. But piloted shredder is still one of the best cards in the game.
Hey, but guess what? If piloted shredder's text said fucking 4 mana, or is it fucking 5 mana or 4 mana? I don't know.
4 mana.
4/3, summon a Sayer. You know how many decks would run that? You know how many control decks would run that?
What? Sorry, you cut out there. What'd you say?
You know what? If piloted shredders fucking text said fucking Death Rattle summon a Doomsayer, so many more people would be running it in specific decks. Because it's consistent, you know what's going to happen, you can account for it to happen, you can play it in more appropriate situations. That's consistency, and that's when the card will become better.
But
If it read,
shredder
but the fact that it says random makes it somewhat worse overall, because you don't know what you're doing, you know what you're getting. You can get a Lore Walker Cho, and that could fucking kill you.
It could also win you the game.
So objectively, Pilot Shredder is, at least his effect is bad. However, his stats are actually pretty good for its whatever. 4 mana, 4/3 is not bad.
I mean, 4 mana, 4/5 is much better.
It's much better, but 4 mana, 4/3 is not the worst. We can look at Magma
4 mana,
Rager and stuff like
the
that.
fact that it replaces itself is nice.
Yeah.
Floating.
It's
Floating
sticky, nice. But
Yes,
it's
and
still
that's still
like its effect is objectively bad.
It's still considered one of the best cards in the game, though, because that random aspect makes it
God.
so good.
That doesn't change the fact that objectively
No, the
its
random
effect is
aspect.
bad.
The random aspect, from what I can see, isn't what makes it good. It has decent stats and it floats into another body for you to use.
It does. That's one thing.
Yes, a
That's
random
another reason
body
why-
that could have any effect, which could be great.
And also
God.
horrible. Therefore, its consistency is dead. Therefore, its effect is objectively bad.
And yet,
it
it's
might
still
turn out to be
played.
good. And how this
Because
relates back
most-
to the
Because most of
legendary
the
is
time, it's going to be
thing.
great.
No, you cannot say that.
Yes,
That
you
is literally
can.
a fallacy. That's literally a fallacy.
The experimental probability of it is it's great.
That's a fallacy.
How many
Alright,
cards
which
are
fallacy
currently
is it?
in Hearthstone right now? How many? Let's look at it. Let's look at it purely stat wise, all right?
You're saying because
How many-
most of the time you get a good thing, therefore the whole card is good. That's a fallacy. I don't know which fallacy it's because fuck, we're memorizing all those. But it is. You're saying because most of the time I do this, it's guaranteed. Or that's basically how you're fucking doing the logic. It's not guaranteed. It's bad. Objectively. And objectively changes, the word objectively changes a lot here. And I think you're fucking ignoring it.
Alright then, something like...
You're mixing up objective and potential.
Something like
You're
a
literally
sludge.
ignoring the concept of
Nick is,
potential.
like- Nick is-
Alright, something like a sludge belcher. Most of
Consistent.
the time, that's a good card, correct?
It is consistent and it is a good card.
Most of the time, that's a good card.
Can you tell me what that does?
In most situations, Sludge Belcher is a 3 mana, or not, well,
Five.
it's a 5 mana 3/5 with taunt. And then when it
Summon-
dies, it summons a 1 mana, or not, yeah, a 1 mana
It's-
1/2 with taunt.
That's
So
really,
basically, it's a
that's
really sticky
great.
thing. It stops a lot of aggro, a lot of things that push a lot of damage in one turn, because it's got so many taunts in it.
So yeah, most of the time, that's a good card. But what if it gets silenced? What if it gets entombed?
Well, that's not the fucking card's fault, is it? The card by itself is really good.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say here is that most of the time, that's a good card.
But
Just
guess
like
what?
most
The
of
card
the
is
time,
consistent.
Piloted Shredder is a good card.
Hey, most of the time, no, all the time, this card is consistent. Other things that affect the card don't fucking count.
But it
Are you
does.
kidding? No, it doesn't.
Yes,
The
it does.
card by you're an idiot.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Deathwing. All right, Deathwing.
You're
You
an-
clear the board. Great. It gets Shadow Word Death. You're fucked.
You can't account for what your opponent
you
has.
Can, though.
You don't
the only
pick a
thing
card and put
It
it
could
into a
get
deck
Siphon
accounting
Soul.
for what. Okay, let me ask you this: are you gonna play a synchro deck in fucking Yu-Gi-Oh and account that
Why
I'm
do you
gonna play
play Kazan
Monarchs?
Mystic?
Are you gonna count that I'm gonna play
Why do you play
Monarchs?
Kazan Mystic?
To a fucking an anti-silence
counter
deck or an
to
anti-fucking
counter
secret deck.
secrets. Yes, to counter specifically
And guess
secrets.
what?
If your opponent
did
doesn't
not
run
count
any
on you
secrets,
having that.
yes, they
You
can.
can't fucking bring in another player's fucking deck into the validity of a card. Are you kidding?
Why do hunters play Flare? To
I mean,
get rid of
that's
secrets.
Hold on. That's kind of how it works.
Are you trying to fucking justify a random effect and the fucking validity of cards by the effect of other cards?
Let me tell you about a little cycle here, alright?
I mean,
There's a
hold
call.
on.
There's a card called Shadow Word Horror. 4 mana, destroy all minions with 2 or less attack. All right. If a lot of enemies are playing a lot of 2-drop, if a lot of decks are playing
a lot
cards,
of Zeus, basically.
Yes. For instance, if enemies are playing a lot of 2-attack minions, people will play Shadow Word Horror. But once people start playing Shadow Word Horror, people will stop playing 2-attack minions. It'll be an endless cycle where people respond to what other people are putting into their decks.
Guess what, Nick? That's called a meta. That has nothing to do with how good a card is. Guess what?
Yes, it does.
In this
Shadow
exact
Word
scenario
Horror,
you propose.
Shadow Word Horror. All right, go ahead.
In the exact scenario you propose, the validity, the fucking value of Shadow Word Horror has not changed at all.
It does, because if no one is playing 2-attack minions,
it does not make the card better or worse. It's still the same effect. It's still the same value. It just so happens that you're fighting a person that happens to have that. If you're putting in the value of cards into what your opponent is playing, you're doing this so wrong. The value of the card is not determined by other variables, such variables you cannot control. And that's why this fucking card with random effects are objectively bad, because you cannot account a card's value for randomness. That's not how it works.
But you can.
No, because randomness is literally random. You cannot give a card value based on randomness.
But you can give value to that random effect.
You can give a subjective value to it. And that's, I'm going to say again, subjective points.
I'm here.
Randomness. But overall, objectively, statistically, you cannot say the card is good.
Oh, you want to talk statistics?
You cannot say a card is bad.
Statistics is all about experiments.
So you cannot say a card is bad because of what your opponent is playing. You cannot do that. That's asinine. That's full of fallacy.
No,
that's
you can say that.
Wow.
Though.
You can say it, but you'd be wrong objectively.
No, you would be right.
Nick, you have a mind that's very unique, and I respect that. But you're a fucking idiot.
Fuck you.
All right. I just like to put in my word.
Go ahead.
Value of some cards actually, the value of some cards actually does increase based on what the current meta actually truly is. Like, I don't know. I only play Yu-Gi-Oh, so I only have Yu-Gi-Oh examples.
Yeah, I understand.
So, friggin', there's a continuous trap card. It's called Mask of Restrict. Been mentioned already before. It prevents the opponent from tribute summoning. Now, it's usually not I'm pretty sure Hearthstone doesn't have like a side deck or anything. So
no.
But Yu-Gi-Oh has like a side. Yu-Gi-Oh has a side deck thing, which is a separate little 15-card piece that you that in between matches, in between duels, you swap out certain cards based on the matchup you're currently facing. Like game one, you feel
tournament decks,
yeah. Game one, you're fighting a Monarch player. You're not gonna main Mask or Restrict because a lot of the other decks don't really tribute summon all that often. Like Cosmos don't really ever do it.
But you have it in store just in case.
Like you have it in store just in case. Like
now, let me tell you how
it's a situational card.
Let me tell you how Hearthstone's fucking competitive scene works. At the beginning, when you first face off, you pick 3 decks, and that's it. You cannot change those decks in between.
As well.
I don't know about that.
And you have
basically
to win
basically how it goes at the start of the first matches. You have picked 3 decks, and at this point, you can no longer edit them in any way, shape, or form. So you cannot mold around your opponent.
But you can. Because if you know what kinds of decks they're going
What?
to play...
Okay, yeah, you can totally... That's not what I said. You can't fucking mold your deck around what your opponent's doing after the match has started. What?
Not after the match has started, but before the match starts.
Before that, that's not what fucking matters. I just said, all that matters is that after the first match has started, you can't change your decks anymore. What are you trying to prove there?
Yeah, but you don't have to change it afterwards if you change them beforehand.
The point is to be able... Like, oh my fucking god. He was saying how you can put Master Restrict in if you notice your opponent's using something like Monarchs. But that's already after the first duel. You can't change a Hearthstone deck in the competitive scene after the first duel's already happened. You are not allowed. You cannot add or subtract anything from your deck at that point.
Yes, but you just do it beforehand because you know.
Oh my fucking god!
You know what people are going to be playing.
Except
like,
you don't.
You know
That's
there's
a
going to be a
fallacy.
Secret Paladin.
You
know there's going to be a Druid.
Can't basically make an anti-deck but you can't make an anti-deck because you make the anti-deck and then you use it against a deck that isn't what it's made to counter. It doesn't work.
Nick is telling me to look into the future. Nick, let me say it one more time, really fucking slow.
You said in tournaments, right? In tournaments,
before you even know what classes your opponents are playing, you are not allowed to edit your decks. You submit what decks you are going to be playing, and then you are no longer allowed to edit them. And then the whole fucking drafting process goes through, and then your opponent has 3 decks. Tell me at what point you are allowed to fucking change your deck.
You don't. You change it beforehand.
Oh my!
You change it before you submit it to the tournament.
Cool. How does that help you mold around your opponent when you know what decks he's playing? It doesn't.
Because you know what decks he's going to be playing beforehand.
Oh my god! You're literally presented with a situation in which you cannot do this certain thing, and then you're telling me how to do the certain thing.
You look up the good decks in the meta and what other people are playing. There's going to be a Druid. There's going to be a Control Warrior. There's probably going to be a Freeze Mage.
Nick, are you tired? Because I'm literally telling you, you cannot do X, and then you're telling me how to do X.
Yes,
you're
because
actually
you can.
ignoring what I'm saying.
You change it before you submit it in.
Nick, please stop being stupid.
I'm not.
I'm trying to say, the whole point of molding around somebody is already knowing what they're going to be playing. It does not matter what the meta is. It does not matter what you think they're going to be playing because you don't physically know. And then here's what happens. At this point, you don't know what they're playing. You submit your decks. You learn what your opponent's classes are. At this point, it is physically impossible to change your deck. Tell me how you change your deck.
You don't at that point.
Yes, that's it. That was the whole scenario, the whole time. And you've been telling me how to do it with foresight or something.
But you just change it beforehand.
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. All right.
Because you don't know what classes your opponent's playing. What does that matter?
But you do. There's gonna be a Secret Paladin. There's gonna be a Druid. Druid is literally the best class in this current format.
What the fuck is going on? Nick's
you guys are
fucking not listening to anything.
Okay, Iggy, just listen to me for a little while. Just listen.
My fucking head hurts now.
You use the knowledge of the meta to predict what your opponent is going to be playing.
I failed you. I cannot make you understand common logic.
Like Druids, Control Warriors, and a Freeze Mage. Like, that's the current meta.
Do I have
potentially Arena Lock.
Oh my fucking god. I'm so sad right now.
What I'm trying to say here is that you can change the deck before you submit it because you know what's in the current meta. You use your knowledge of the meta to predict, like, okay, he's going to be running a Druid. Everyone runs a Druid!
Let me tell you how
in a tournament, everyone wants a Druid. Everyone.
Nick, how do hypotheticals work? Let me tell you this. It is a situation presented where the variables are stated and then the situation is pondered. The variables are stated and no more. You're fucking thinking of the meta as a variable. You're a fucking idiot. Because I'm presenting you a situation to ponder based on what the whole thing has been going on. And then you're starting to argue things that aren't part of the scenario. You're literally trying to bring in things that are irrelevant, and you're arguing them.
But
Can
they
you see why
have
I'm frustrated
relevance.
now? But they're not relevant to
But
the
they
scenario
are
I
relevant!
proposed!
They are relevant!
Look, Nick, you're quick to talk and slow
You're
down.
saying you can't change your deck to apply to your opponent's deck, right?
Not after you submitted your decks, because prior
No,
to submitting
why
them,
would you do it
don't-
after you submit the deck, though? You just
because
do it
you don't
beforehand.
know what you don't know what your opponent is playing.
They're
before
gonna
you
be
submit
running
them.
a druid.
That's a fallacy.
That's a
First off.
guarantee.
It's a fallacy. First
It's a
off,
guarantee.
and that's a fallacy again.
No, because literally everyone runs a druid. It's literally the best deck.
Fallacy
that you can
again?
Run. No,
You see how
it
his
has-
credibility is slowly draining?
All right, so you said, oh, consistency is important, right? Druid has
Yeah.
the most consistency, so everyone's running a druid.
Fallacy.
Druid has consistently been the best deck. Everyone's gonna run a druid. You know this. And
There
even
might be
if they
statistics.
don't run
Hey,
a druid, even if
Yeah.
they don't, there's still gonna be a face deck of some sort where whatever you
Fallacy.
deck in, where
I
when-
can just count the ways you just
where
keep
whatever
speaking
you
now.
tech in to counter that druid is still gonna work in other face decks or against other face decks.
I counted, I don't know how many fallacies.
All right, name
But
them off.
you're li-
Go ahead, name them off.
There will always be a druid. Fallacy.
Not,
There will always be a face deck. Fallacy.
because everyone either runs. Druid is a face deck, by the way.
Wow. He's trying to justify it not being a
In
fallacy
this current
by
format,
claiming they're
there's
gonna do it anyway. Oh my god.
In this current format, there's always going to be a druid deck,
Fallacy.
and there's also going to be a control warrior deck.
Fallacy.
Those are two constants that you can't get around.
Fallacy.
Consistently, they have been in every
Hey,
single set
Nick.
of decks. It's a constant. It's a fact that everyone
Fallacy?
has run a druid and a control warrior at the
Fallacy.
very least.
Fallacy.
Or at least
my God.
a face deck of some sort.
I really like how you're
Secret
trying to
That's a face
prove
deck.
that it's not a fallacy by presenting it being another fallacy.
Hey guys, I'm
Literally
here.
the same fallacy. Nick, Chris,
Hey.
do you understand what a fallacy
It's
is?
a constant. It's a fact.
Chris, can you tell me what a fallacy is?
I don't know. I know what a fallacy is. It's not
Can you-
right.
Can
I can't give you a clear definition because it's hard.
Well, there's various types of fallacy, but can you identify, without even really naming it, the fallacy Nick is using?
Like he's assuming something will happen. Granted, there's I don't know exactly Again, I don't know Hearthstone, but like again, drawing parallels to Yu-Gi-Oh, like yes, the top decks of the current meta are friggin' Monarchs and top decks of the current Monarchs and Cosmos and then some other.
All right. So in a tournament, how likely are you to see one of those top decks be played?
It really depends. It really depends on the level you're going at.
What would you
Locals,
say it's pretty likely you're going to see a top deck being played?
yeah, most of the time you're gonna find
Now,
you're gonna at least
can
one
you
asshole
guar-
who's gonna play the toss.
Can you guarantee me 100% with your life that the deck will be played?
At least by one asshole, because there's always that one asshole at locals.
No, you cannot 100% guarantee that, because that asshole might not be there. You cannot 100% guarantee anything in the universe. Guaranteeing it, like Nick has been doing, is what a fallacy or one of the fallacies is, and that a fallacy in an argument is literally discreditable.
You can guarantee death.
Death is a constant that is actually okay. Yeah, sure, fucking
Aha!
that one.
Good
Taxes.
fuck.
Actually, no, it's not.
It is.
It's
though.
not actually guaranteed.
It is.
It's not.
How are you gonna tell me that? Oh, nothing dies, or at least one
The
thing
potential
never
for
dies?
the potential of immortality, even as a concept, is around, and someone just may not die one day. Who knows? One day people may just not die. Gravity and oxygen are not guarantees.
I mean, yeah, because those change with the environment.
So guaranteeing death, guaranteeing gravity, guaranteeing oxygen, fallacy.
Taxes are a guarantee.
Axes?
Taxes.
Taxes.
Not really. Third world countries don't have taxes.
This country's no.
All right, then fine. Existence. How is that not a concept?
Existence? Nope. Could just fucking end.
Sure.
Nothing in the universe is guaranteed at all.
The universe.
Maybe, you know what? I think one thing is pretty guaranteed, and that's human stupidity. Of course, I say that in jest. So
the
don't fucking take that.
Is guaranteed.
It's not.
There has to
All
be
right.
something in the something.
There doesn't.
So
Then how
this
does
is like
something
a-
exist?
Existence may just well cease. That's the
We could
point.
cut-
You cannot guarantee anything in existence.
We went from arguing over card games to arguing over.
Oh, it's gonna go back, motherfucker. This is like a Yu-Gi-Oh chain. It's all gonna go back really fast.
So let's go back.
Point being, though, let me roll this train back. What you're doing is using fallacies to prove that druids will always be played consistently, which is not right.
I am looking at a
And
deck
by
list
the
of
way,
the
my whole
decks
fucking
played.
consistency key in Hearthstone is in terms
Druid.
of
Druid.
decks.
Druid. Literally every person who is in a championship or a tournament is running a druid. I'm not even joking. Druid.
Okay, you can say that
Druid.
statistically,
Druid.
but what can you say? There will
Druid.
always be a druid.
In this format, yes.
Fallacy.
Because 100% of these are a druid or have a druid.
Historically, there has always been a druid. You can say that. I don't know if that's true.
Statistically, there's a druid in all of these.
Historically and statistically are the same thing. Historically, there has always been a druid. I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe maybe it is. You can say, okay, historically, that's true. Sure, that's not a fallacy. Can you say with 100% certainty that there will always be a druid throughout this format?
Throughout this format? Yes.
No, that's a fallacy. You cannot predict the future.
You can, though!
You can take a guess. You can take a prediction. If you could do that, go play the lottery. Go play horse races, because you apparently know everything that's going to happen, that will and will be, that has and has been.
So you say you can't predict the future, but then you say you can make a prediction. That's
You can make a prediction, but that prediction can be false. You cannot accurately predict the future. You know what? I'll make a fucking bet
You
with me.
can accurately predict the future, though.
You can be
Sure.
lucky. Nick, go horse racing right now and tell me every horse that'll win.
I mean, it's the middle of the night, and I don't have enough
This-
information or enough
Nick,
value in horse racing to determine,
Find
like,
it. I'm gonna make it a hypothetical. We're at the fucking horse races noon, just so you're
Uh-huh.
fucking happy.
uh-huh.
You see all the fucking horses, 12 horses racing at a time. There's gonna be a total of 50 races today. Tell me every winner.
Do I have all the statistics that I need?
Sure.
All right.
All the horses, you know everything about them, from everything they've done to everything they've ever eaten.
All right, I can predict which one is going to win.
You can. But guess what? That prediction can also be wrong.
It could be.
And that's the point. You just said it yourself. There we go. That's it. We've done it. Read it. We did it.
All right, sure.
Reddit,
So
Reddit,
let's
we
go
did
all
it.
the way back around to Shifter Xeris, where this fucking thing started.
Okay, well, that goes back to consistency. Not everything, with fucking decks, you want cards to be consistent. Classes don't fucking matter here. Well, they barely matter anyway. The card's consistency is literally zero. Meaning, objectively, the card has zero consistency, you can't control it, it's objectively a bad card.
You could play as a 1/1 for 1. There's
That's the only time you have consistency with that card, is the first turn when it's a 1-mana 1/1. That is the only time it's consistent. You are
The
right.
consistency of it is that it's also a minion, no matter what.
There's that too.
And in control decks,
Just
you
trying to
also don't run very minions. You also don't run very many minions in control decks, which adds to its power.
That's not consistent. You can't say that about a control deck.
You can though.
I mean, if there was a uniform definition of control, you could say that, but there is not. Only subjective definitions.
All right.
You see what I'm saying now? Do you understand why I've been arguing with you this whole time?
You're saying that because it's not guaranteed to be good, it's not good.
Yes.
All right.
Regardless of deck, regardless of class, regardless of meta.
But
I
I'm
think
saying
we
that
did it.
because of its random aspect, it's good. That's our difference.
Potentially. And with the literal one word, potential, you are right. It is potentially the greatest card in the game.
I'm not saying it's the greatest card in the game, though.
No, but literally it has the potential to be.
It could be.
Potentially, this card can fill any slot, be any card you need it to be at any time, potentially.
Most of the time, it's going to be a good card.
That's technically a fallacy. Most of the time is not. You can't say that 100%. It's most of the time it's going to be something. You cannot say it's most of the time going to be anything.
Most of the time, it's going to be above average. Is that better or no?
No, that's still a fallacy.
Most of the time, it'll be neutral. Is that better?
That's still a fallacy.
God
You
damn
cannot
it.
say it's going to, because you're trying to give it consistency. There's no consistency with this card. Have you taken applied math? No, you haven't.
No.
Senior year, everything I've said just now is going to make so much sense to you.
I'm not taking applied math anyway. So.
Well, if you want to understand anything I've been saying for the past half an hour, by the way, we're on a podcast. By the way, in case anyone's wondering, we don't hate each other, even if our voice is raised really loud and it sounds like I'm calling him a retard, which I did at several points. That's all good.
Mean, this is basically what happens every day when we do sorties anyway, so...
Dude, sorties bring out the worst in me.
Yeah.
This is normal. All is good.
To an almost extreme degree. And by the way, the entire point of this was to discuss the new cards that just got released.
Hey, how about Yogg-Saron?
Shifter Xeris wasn't one of them, and neither is Yogg-Saron.
Hey, Yogg-Saron's objectively not good either.
Oh no. Yogg-Saron is a fun card, it's not good.
You finally understand what I'm talking about. Fucking, I can die happy. Until tomorrow when I realize
the reason Yogg-Saron isn't good is that it could, like...
For the same reason.
Yeah, but...
Not consistent.
But you always know, like, when you play it, you always know what's going to happen. Unless it's another random card, like a Matter Bomber or something.
Yeah, if fucking Yogg-Saron was literally 10 mana, cast Powerballs at your enemy for every spell you play this turn, that's consistent. Even if it's randomly split.
Yo, dude, everyone played that.
Another, like, kind of example is Avenging Wrath. And I guess to, you know, some degree, the new old god that's coming out that's basically Avenging Wrath.
Cthulhu.
You know it's going to hit your enemy, so there's consistency there. You know it's going to deal damage. You just don't know where it's going to deal damage to. So there's at least, like, 2/3 consistency. So you can kind of say it's okay.
I mean, the thing about Cthulhu decks is that while Cthulhu is the boss monster, what really makes a Cthulhu deck good is that all the Cthulhu cards have really good stat lines.
Well, that's, you know, besides I'm just talking about the effect, the Avenging Wrath effect.
Yeah, I know.
I feel accomplished. Right. Hey, Chris.
You could cut that out and make it its own section.
Like, oh no, we're not done yet. A Light in the Darkness. 2-mana Paladin card.
Jesus Christ.
Discover a minion, give it +1/+1. Shit.
Are we actually going to do this?
Yes.
I'm literally, like, out of words.
Worse than a Raven Idol. Bad. Alright, next up. Aberrant Berserker. 4-mana, 3/5 with Enrage +2 attack.
Wasn't there a taunt that got added as like a 2/6 with Enrage?
That is the Warrior taunt.
Yeah, that's fucking good.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, especially in a Cthulhu deck where, like, you're just kind of stalling for your boss monster, which is Cthulhu.
Or you're just gonna sit there and armor.
And because Sludge Belcher is going out, you're losing a lot of taunts, and There aren't very many good taunts anymore. Because, like, Sludge Belcher was like, if you want to taunt, you play Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, he was consistent.
Anyway, Aberrant Berserker, 4-mana, 3/5, it's okay. Like, if it had an extra point in health, then that would make it, like, great. But as it is now, it's okay.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Next up, we have Addled Grizzly. After you summon a minion, give it +1/+1. It is a 3-mana 2/2 Druid card.
I don't know this card, actually.
Same situation as with Hobgoblin, where if you can play the minions, cool, but you're most of the time not going to have the minions. Like, Hobgoblin is very much, you draw Hobgoblin or you lose. Like, if you're playing a Hobgoblin deck, anyway.
That's why you kind of make it like a half deck. Like, some
Like-
zoos try to incorporate Hobgoblin by playing, lower minions. It kind of worked.
Kinda, but not to the best. Plus, it's only +1/+1, which I can see why, but... Also, Druids don't really have token generation, which is
Not-
another...
Yeah, no.
another thing that just... Besides Living Roots, which is another thing that just makes it worse.
Wisps of the old gods.
Mecha
Fuck you.
Phantom Beasts.
No, it is, though.
I
It's
know,
not bad.
but still... It's not...
We're the old.
It's an okay
We're the
card.
old gods in this expansion.
The old cards,
Yogg-Saron, Cthulhu,
Nizoth, and some Destructor guy or Corruptor.
which, by the way, if we're going to talk about them, there's a YouTube channel by the name of Disguised Toast, which is a great name, by the way. And he's an avid Hearthstone player. And he's done, like, lore videos and, like, tidbits and stuff and, like, interactions, bugs, some weird stuff. And he did, like, a lore video on all the 4 old gods and basically what they were in World of Warcraft
Ooh,
and Warcraft and all that
that's
stuff.
nice.
It's very entertaining.
The last old god was Yasharj.
And stuff like Twitch plays
Is he-
Hearthstone.
Alright, so...
Is he sure?
Next up, we've got Omgom Reaper, the opposite
asked
of
you
a
a
Magma
question.
Rager.
I asked you a question. What does your charge do?
Oh,
What is
Yasharj,
what?
puts a random minion from your deck into the field.
Like a weird Varian Rin.
It's a 10-mana
Yasharj.
card, by the way.
Yes, sure.
Wait, is that one of the old gods? Is that one of
Yeah.
the old gods?
It's one of the old gods.
Really?
Yeah, Nizoth summons Death Rattle minions that died this game.
That's at least
Um,
useful in a situation.
You're
Just a 10 mana summon a random minion?
No, it pulls one from your deck.
I know from your deck though, like just a random minion from your deck.
Yeah.
That's not good.
I mean, considering that battle
Unless you're
cries-
playing like a legendary Annoyotron, not Annoyotron, what are those things called?
It's
Alarm
at the
Robot
end of your
decks.
turn, by the way. And it's a 10/10.
Oh, does it more than once? Okay, I
Yeah,
can see
it's
that.
not just like a one-time done. Though that's probably the value you're going to get from it, but...
Yeah.
Next up, we've got the Omgom Rager, the opposite of Magma Rager. It's a 1/5.
A 1/5?
Yeah, that's it.
Is it class specific?
Neutral.
Priest could use that.
Potentially, but Tournament Medic already does what this does, and for like 1 extra mana, you get 3 extra health and the...
I guess,
Back.
but since fucking Deathlord's leaving.
But the thing is, you have to give it taunt somehow, which is an issue.
Well, the taunt wasn't the biggest thing. I mean, it kind of can be, but like just using, double health and then make your attack equal to your health, that's pretty good. Make
I
a
mean-
16/16.
The thing with Deathlord, which made it good, is that you can buff it up a ton, and then if they silence that, you still have a 2/8 with great stats. Plus, they don't get the minion from their deck.
Yeah, there was benefit, but
I mean, it could be a pseudo replacement, but it's not going to be a very good replacement.
Nah.
Next up, we got Anomalous, an 8-mana mage legendary, 8/6 stat line, Death Rattle, deal 8 damage to all minions.
yeah, that's weird. I kind of compare it to like Chilmaw and how he had that effect of dealing 3 damage to everything.
But this
And
is
it's just
pumped up.
it's more consistent because you don't have to have a dragon in your hand, but
Yeah.
8 mana to everything. I don't know why you wouldn't just play a freeze mage at that point.
The thing with Anomalous is that it can take out the high cost stuff. Like, and that's a lot of what's gonna be going around. Like Ragnaros is, like
Ragnaros Light Lord.
Yeah, he also has 8. Which Anomalous will be good for clearing the board of high cost stuff and low cost stuff actually. But the problem with Freeze Mage is that you Frost and Over Doomsayer, and that's your play. It, like, at most there's a Flame Strike, which deals 4, which doesn't take out the high cost stuff. But other than that, you have Frost and Over Doomsayer, which is not the most.
Pretty much kills everything. Especially if they have 7 in their board.
With
It's
Silence,
like you have to use spell.
Yeah, with Silence going out.
Iron Beak has been fucking hit. Spellbreaker is going to be seeing some more play, I predict.
Yeah, I would say so.
I don't know if any Silence is rotating out.
Do
you think Priest will finally use its fucking Silence card?
Potentially. Like,
I kind of, like, I was looking at Priest cards, and I fucking forgot they had a 0 mana Silence card.
If there
Mass Dispel.
If there is a desperate need for Silence, then yes, Priest is gonna see, like, those Silence cards being played a lot more.
It should be really weird. I haven't seen a Mass Dispel or 0 mana Silence played in a long time.
I don't think I've ever seen a 0 mana Silence played. Mass Dispel I've seen, like, twice, I think. Just for mainly Cycle. Next up...
There's some, like, newer players that use it.
Next up, we got the Bilefin Tidehunter. 2 mana, 2/1 Murloc. Battlecry summon a 1/1 Ooze with Taunt.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Fucking, let me get this picture. Have you seen, you know the fucking, is it Paladin Epic? The Murloc thing that changes your hero power?
To summon a 1/1 Murloc?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
Have you seen what that Murloc looks like?
I have.
The Silverhand Murloc?
Pull it up again.
I have it in a tweet. I can pull up.
Yeah, no, I see it.
It's fucking the greatest card art in this game.
It's got a little shaman thing.
Shaman? You mean Paladin?
No, I mean, it's got a little shaman staff.
I'm gonna post this so Chris can see it if he fucking cares.
Yeah, sure, why not?
And you can fucking put it in the video. That thing, that's just... basically goes from a knight to a fucking Murloc with the fucking Paladin hammer and shield. It's fucking great.
Dude, yes.
That is my favorite card art, and I want to see a golden version of that.
Oh, that's actually really good.
Can you imagine how hyped friggin' Ian's gonna get, though?
His favorite class is, in fact, the Murlocs. Or Shaman.
He does play Murlocs a lot. He plays Shaman Murlocs, though.
Yeah.
Mainly because he doesn't have anything else. If he had Paladin, like the Murloc Knight, he'd probably play it.
Well, that's a TGT card.
That's not rotating, though.
Yeah, no. Alright, what were we on again? Oh, right, the Bilefin Tidehunter. Basically a Murloc Tidehunter, except the Ooze with Taunt is much better than the 1/1 Murloc you would get.
Have you seen the ooze that comes out of that thing?
Oh, yeah, it's actually used
Weird.
on a lot of... It's actually used on other cards where it's like ooze.
Yeah. Apparently ooze and slime is different, so they got different card arts. Weird. Did you see
but the little
the
ooze card art is great.
Did you see the Whispered of the Old God streams with Frodin and fucking Ben Brody?
I put it on dull speed and watched through to like see all the cards, yeah.
Double speed? Good God, what does his laugh sound like on that?
Oh, it's great.
So, if you don't know, there's a guy in the Hearthstone development team, I believe, or at least the staff.
I believe he's the head of some... I believe he's head developer.
He's important, and he's the greatest man alive, because he laughs at everything, and his laugh is infamous.
Oh yeah, his laugh is awesome.
It's so good. Fucking, I would pay money to surgically mess with my laugh box and change it to that.
But do you go for the glory or the story?
Gotta go for the story.
Anyway,
In Bronzebeard, Yogg Saron.
the 1/1 taunt is much better than the 1/1 Murloc because a lot of the time when you play in Murloc decks, the biggest problem you're running into is that your stuff like your war leaders or like
Oh, Ben Brode, not Ben Brody.
yeah, Brode. Because a lot of time the important Murlocs that buff all the other ones are just taken out by like minions your opponent plays. So the taunt is good. It's above average. If you're running a Murloc deck, you play it definitely.
Ian.
Yeah. And then we got the Blackwater Pirate, 4 mana, 2/5. Your weapons cost 2 less. It's pirate.
Good for pirate decks.
Meh. Like the reduction on cost is decent, but really, how much value is that gonna be?
At least there is, a new pirate, a few new pirates.
Yeah. If you want to run pirates, then sure, do it. But pirates in general have just been lacking.
They've ever since vanilla, they tried to push pirates, but they also subtly try to push them, so they just get shafted.
Yeah, I mean, Dread Corsair sees play in Patron, but that's about it.
Dread Corsair is the most common pirate, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, most of the pirates have really good effects, the fucking. What the fuck is it? Bloodsail Corsair, who's fucking.
Gain attack equal to weapon. Yeah.
Is that it? I thought that was the Bloodsail Raider.
Corsair?
Corsair's the fucking one drop that removes the durability from weapons.
Okay, yeah.
I've won games because of that. It's like, oh, you're trying to play Patron Warrior? Well, you got 1 charge left on that thing? Fuck you.
I mean, Harrison Jones does that and does that a
lot. I don't
better.
own Harrison Jones, though, so.
I know, but
just... also, you play it as a 1 mana minion, and it's a lot different. So you can do it a lot earlier. Then there's the Dreadsail Corsair is probably the most common because it's the taunt that works off of weapons, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
The one that gains charge, I feel, did really good in Oil Rogue OTKs.
But Blade Flurry's going out, so
it's going out, and that's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still run the oil with that card because it has charge with the weapon.
Yeah, but it won't be as effective because it won't be an OTK anymore.
No, because you can't, weapon up.
It can be a finisher.
The oils, give the minion the oils, and then hit him once, and then Blade Flurry. Literally an OTK.
It can be a finisher, but it's still not.
Yeah.
By the way, Chris, you're still here, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just wondering. Considering how bored you must be with this Hearthstone talk.
I mean, if you noticed in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
It's a highlight. It's not a video. I just wanted to talk. I know how freaking
every single laugh he had during the Whispers of the Old God stream.
God damn. Next up, we got the Blade of Cthulhu.
Holy shit, that card is good.
Yeah. 9 mana,
that's
4/4.
Not even... That is... Holy shit. I saw in that stream, he fucking used it on a 16/16 Cthulhu, and his Cthulhu went up to 38/38.
Yeah. 9
That's
mana...
fucking insane.
Alright, first off, 9 mana 4/4. Destroy a minion, add its attack and health to Cthulhu's.
Stats are shit for the cost.
Rogue card, by the way.
In a Cthulhu deck, it is fucking amazing.
But the thing is, it's basically you get an Assassinate and a 4/4. So it's 2 cards, but it's better than 2 cards because it's 1 card.
It's basically play an Assassinate, play a 4 mana 4/4, but then you also get the effect of whatever the fucking minions effect or stats that you killed get that to Cthulhu, and it's just insane.
Yeah.
It's really kind of 3 effects in one.
You're basically...
2 effects, 1 minion.
you're basically playing 1 health on a Chillwind Yeti for destroying an enemy minion and adding its attack and health to Cthulhu.
It's too good.
It's great. Next up, another rogue.
Although
card.
I just don't get like, I get a lot of initial feelings on cards like I did with Reno Jackson. Like, I knew he would be played a lot and he'd be really good, maybe too good. I don't get that feeling from this card that it's going to be, too good. Like, I don't feel people are going to talk about it. I feel it might also somehow be dropped. I feel like it could be one of those cards that could be dropped.
The thing is, if Cthulhu doesn't work in Rogue, which it probably won't, it'll see less play, but I think it's still a good enough card to where it will still see play, even if Cthulhu isn't played in Rogue.
Alright.
Maybe.
I'm gonna
Alright.
bounce. I'll catch you later.
Alright.
Bye.
Night, Chris.
How long was that rant? Like the back and forth argument.
I think it was around 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Fucking awkward for everyone else to listen to.
Next up, we got the Bladed Cultist, a 1-mana rogue, by the way. 1 mana 1/2 with the combo game +1/+1. Shit. Like, it's because it's 1 mana that it's shit. Like, if it was 2 mana and had an extra point in, like, attack or health, then it would be a lot better. But how are you going to combo it on turn 1?
On turn 1, you probably won't. Like, turn 2, it's easier to combo with another 1 mana thing, like Shiv or something.
The thing with this is that you basically need to go second and have this in your opening hand, or else you're just out of luck.
I think this is really a 3 to 6 minute, 3 to 6 turn card. Like in Rogue, turn 3 to turn 6 is when most of the comboing happens, because you have a lot of cards that are mixed mana. Like, turn fucking 5, you'll play a 3-drop and then you play a 2-drop. So like you might play a 4-drop like a Chillwind and then play this just for, to get something else on the board. At that point, this card is still under the curve, but,
I mean, you basically just want to play this turn, like, because of its low cost, you want to play it. Actually, no, that works.
You want to, but you can't.
I mean, as a, like, oh, I have 1 mana left over, sure, I'll play it. It works like that.
Yeah, it does. Assuming you combo something before.
In that case, it's better than a Zombie Chow because it doesn't heal your enemy.
It is. And Zombie Chow is being rotated anyway.
Yeah, but other than that, it's just not good enough, I would say.
Like, the greatest dream for Rogue is, like, turn 1. First off, you go second, you get coin, and then you get fucking that bandit. What's he called? This is our town scrub.
Oh, yeah, Defias Ringleader?
Defias Ringleader.
I mean, that's really, the combo. If you want to play Bladed Cultist, you're going to need another 1-drop, because you coin out the other 1-drop and then Bladed Cultist. Or potentially, if you have both Bladed Cultists in your hand.
The thing about that, though, it's really unlikely to get 2 1-drop minions in the same turn unless you're running a Zoo deck.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to do. You probably don't even run 2 1-mana minions in a Rogue.
Yeah, that's the issue with Bladed Cultist.
With Rogue, that card is a 3 to 6 turn card. Which makes it a little bit worse.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. Like, an extra stat somewhere on it would make it a hell of a lot better.
2/1 would made that card worth playing. It'll see a little bit of play, maybe in something that's like a rogue, like a control rogue. If that's even, like, if anyone even attempts that, like, it's a decent body for its mana.
I think it would be mid-range rogue, not control.
You would see, like, you usually with rogue kind of end up with, mana left over because you're trying to combo something specifically. So you might be left with 1 random. You also could just, play it as a 1-mana starter combo.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. Like, if you
there
need
are a lot of
starter, sure.
Because, you could keep it and it has the potential to combo itself. Or just, rogues don't have a lot of 1-mana stuff. So,
yeah,
there's that.
Next up, we got a 1-mana warrior spell, Blood to Ichor. Deal 1 mana.
Bad. Battle Rage is not played.
Besides Patron.
Besides Patron. I don't feel warriors care enough about damaging their own minions for card draw or getting slimes or oozes out.
Yeah, no, and Inner Rage is much better than Blood to Ichor because it doesn't flood your board with another minion, which is the problem with this card. In Arena, it's pretty great because you're usually missing 1 damage in Arena to like finish stuff off, but
yeah,
in Constructed, no, it's bad. And I mentioned Arena specifically there because that's like the only card here that so far that we've gone through that's like good in Arena.
So if you actually want to watch a better presented, reveal of these cards, a YouTuber by the name of Amaz did all of them thus far. There's 6 of them thus far. He does the presentation, all that, and he does a scale based on Constructed and Arena, respectively. Kind of like that, because each card is different in that respect.
Yeah.
We're basically talking Constructed.
Yeah, completely. Speaking about that taunt you talked about earlier, Bloodhoof Brave, 4 mana 2/6 with taunt and rage plus 3 attack.
Dude, a fucking 4 mana 5/5 taunt is pretty good.
5/6 and well, I guess within rage. Yeah.
To activate its rage, the least you can do is 1. So 4 mana 5/5 is beyond the curve.
Yeah. Plus it has taunt.
Plus taunt makes it pretty good.
Yeah, it's great taunter.
I think that might be the best enrage effect in the game, besides Worgen.
Grommash.
There's that.
Plus 6 attack.
That's a legendary. But yeah, that's technically true. Besides Grommash, Worgen, there's that.
Yeah.
It's best taunt one.
So yeah, great card.
The taunt one's the fucking Tauren.
Elite Tauren Chieftain?
No, the Tauren Warrior. I don't know if that's the card name, but the card art is a Tauren.
Yeah, Tauren Warrior is like a 2/3 with enrage plus 1 or 2.
I think it's a 3 mana 2/3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, Blood of Brave, great card. Next up, we got the Bloodsail Cultist, 3 mana 3/4 warrior specific pirate. If you control a pirate, give your weapon +1/+1.
In Pirate Warrior, it could be good, but Pirate Warrior is really not a thing. I mean, they're really trying to push pirates, and they're really trying to push Control Warrior.
Warrior, if pirates are going to work, it's going to work in Warrior or Rogue, considering that there are only 2 classes.
Yeah, but they're pushing Control so much, like Obsidian Destroyers. They're just giving a lot of taunt to Warrior and a lot of weapons. Remember Vanilla? Vanilla Warrior was literally play 2 Arcanite. What the fuck are they called? What's the 5 mana 5/2 weapon?
What? Arcanite Reaper?
Arcanite Reaper. Vanilla Warrior was run 2 of those, run 2 of the 2 mana 3/2 weapons, and literally just hit face. They were the hunters before hunters.
Along with heroic strikes and such, yeah.
Yep. But they've really, since then, been really pushing taunts and just control tactics.
Bolster might actually see some play.
It could. It's still one of the worst cards to get in Arena.
Yeah, by far. So yeah, Bloodsail Cultist, okay. I mean, Pirate deck, sure, play it.
Bolster is actually considered worse in Arena than... What's that one warrior charge card that's been super nerfed?
Warsong Commander.
Warsong Commander.
Yeah.
It's actually rated worse.
I can see that. Considering that you're probably not going to get too many taunts in Arena.
Mm-hmm. Consistency.
Next up, we got the Bog Creeper. 7 mana 6/8 with taunt. Awesome.
7 mana 6/8 with taunt. Yeah, I guess it's okay.
It has 7/7 worth of stats, but it's better than a War Golem because it doesn't have 7 attack and is not BGHable. Like, a lot of decks are going to need taunt now that Belcher's gone, and if you really need like a high cost taunt, then Bog Reaper is your go-to. Next up, we got Carrion Grub. Hunter. Hunter
thing,
specific. 3 mana, 2/5 beast.
It's basically a base minion, no effects, pretty good stats, and it's a beast.
I think
Kind of what.
I think it would be better as a 3/4. Like, make it a spider tank, but with the beast tag instead.
It works with mid-range Hunter, which really doesn't exist. Basically, not rush, not control, like minion control Hunter.
Yeah. If your opponent's playing a lot of 1/1s, then this will be good. Comboing this with, like, alright, you play Carrion Grub to turn 3. Your opponent's probably not going to be able to kill it because it has 5 health. Which, by the way, is great.
Then you have all your beast synergy with, like, Beastmaster.
Yeah, Houndmaster.
Yeah. That's fucking everything else. Fucking Bestial Wrath.
Of course.
That's not played.
Best card. It's like +2 attack. It's not that good.
And invincibility, you know, not being able to take damage is pretty good. Bestial Wrath, I don't remember what the card was. Like, one of the first cards to get revealed from the old gods was like, hey, when this fucking Hunter minion kills another minion, it's gonna fucking attack again.
Yeah.
Like,
with
Bestial Wrath,
Wrath,
you play with that.
Well, the thing is, the minion has to survive a turn.
Yeah, unless you have the Rhino out.
But the Rhino has to survive a turn.
Rhino is sticky as shit, dude.
I mean, it's a 2/5, yeah. That's about it, though. Next up, we got the Corrupted Seer. 6 mana, 2/3 Murloc. Deal 2 damage to all non-Murloc minions. Blech. Horrible.
It's the corrupted version of that one thing. It's like, okay, yeah, it's cute. And in a Murloc deck, but maybe potential, but not really. It's not going to see play too much, but it might because Murloc decks.
It's just horrible, though. Like,
it's like, normally it's horrible, but you need Murlocs in the Murloc deck, and yeah.
Like, Demon Wrath is so much more better card than this because, 1, it costs like 3 less mana. 2, because if this is Demon Wrath from Murlocs, then the 2/3 stat line is not worth the extra 3 mana.
Not really. So like a 3/4, it might be worth it.
Yeah.
But that's not the point of Murlocs. The point of Murlocs is they're mostly small.
Yeah.
Like, you think the biggest Murloc base stat is Puddle Stomper?
It would be Murkai, because it has 2/4.
I guess.
Puddle Stomper is 3/2. Actually, no, Murloc Knight with 3/4, which makes it 7.
Oh, it is. Why is that the biggest one? Anyway.
Murloc's usually small. Anyway, next one is the Crazed Worshipper. 5 mana taunt. Whenever this minion takes damage, give your Cthulhu +1/+1. It's a 3/6 as well.
It's likely to only give your Cthulhu +2/+2, but that's already pretty decent.
You need taunts in a Cthulhu deck. You'll probably play this in a Cthulhu deck. Yeah, that's about it. Next we got the Cult Sorcerer. Mage, 2 mana, 3/2, spell damage +1. After you cast a spell, give your Cthulhu +1/+1. Thing is, you're not going to be playing too many spells in a Cthulhu deck. You're usually going to be playing the Cthulhu minions to buff your Cthulhu.
Well, there's a balance.
I mean, yeah, there's got to be some spells, but it's not like most Cthulhu decks are not going to have a lot of spell synergy.
Is that card class specific?
Mage.
You could still run it in a mage deck, I think.
There's potential, but I don't think it's good enough. Like, it's better than a Sorcerer's Apprentice, by far.
Yeah.
But otherwise, next up, we got the Cyclopean Horror. Neutral, 4 mana 3/3, taunt with the battle cry, gain +1 health for each enemy minion. For it to be better than Ascendant Shieldmaster, your opponent has to have 3 minions on board, which is not.
At that point, it's gonna die anyway.
Yeah, it isn't too uncommon, but it's still pretty meh.
I mean, the dream is like your opponent. You have 6 minions. Your opponent plays fucking Unleash the Hounds. He's up to 7 minions now. And you just play that for your 7 slides. Like, well, this is a thing.
Yeah, the dream is your opponent has a bunch of tokens. Token minions anyway. And then
Wisps of the Old Gods.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Dark Arakoa with Druid specific. Taunt with the battle cry, give your Cthulhu +3/+3. It is a 5/7. This is one of the reasons I think Druid is going to have the best Cthulhu decks.
Which is I think the card that literally, if your Cthulhu is dead, you get another one. But if it's alive, you get its stats. Isn't that a Druid card?
No, that's neutral.
Okay, because yeah, that's pretty good too.
Yeah, like that's what makes Cthulhu decks able to continue on after Cthulhu has been played. Though if Cthulhu gets polymorphed or something, then meh.
Well, I mean, if you don't have a Cthulhu, it just gives you another one, I think.
No, it specifically says if Cthulhu has died.
Oh, never mind. Otherwise, you could just play Cthulhu without Cthulhu, but who doesn't have... No one's not going to have Cthulhu anyway. I guess you could fill the Cthulhu slot with a different card, though, so yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Dark Arakoa. It's really good. Stat line's awesome. The Cthulhu buff is, I think, the highest? +3/+3?
Potentially. I mean, not without potential. Because the taunt could literally get hit 6 times.
Yeah.
On that other one.
As give you Cthulhu +3/+3.
Maybe the highest base.
+3/+3, yeah.
Right now, anyway.
You're gonna need taunts, and that's one of the best taunts. Has great value.
So all I hear about this is fucking. The only thing I can contrive from this is that Bronzebeard is going to become the most popular legendary in the game.
Oh yeah, Death. It's
Death.
gonna skyrocket. I was gonna finish saying definitely, but then I stopped.
Death.
Yeah. Like, Bran is just so versatile with all these Battlecry cards coming out.
And 2 of the Old Gods.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you've got a 20/20 Cthulhu. It's 40/20 now. Well,
What?
you know, with the effect damage.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Darkshire Alchemist. 5 mana 4/5, priest-specific Battlecry, restore 5 health.
Not impactful, but there.
Healing is going to be very scarce because heal bots are going out. And the healing can heal anything, minion, or your character.
I didn't think about that, actually.
Like, a lot of the healing aspect is just out the door with heal bots just disappearing.
Let me ask you a question. Are you ever going to play anything but Standard?
No.
Yeah. The idea that all the cards are going to be there makes Wild kind of stupid.
I never got enough of the GVG cards to, like, even think about going into Wild.
Even if you had all the cards, I wouldn't want to fight people that had all the cards. Because the combos are just too good.
Plus, they've been playing more longer than you have, so that's a thing. Hey, gotta come.
How many cards are there?
In Hearthstone?
Like, specifically in this review.
I think around 40.
Ah.
So I think we've gone through a fourth so far. Let's keep going. Dark 3 mana 1/5 Warlock card. After you summon a minion, gain +1 attack. It's a one of. You probably played in Zoo. That's about it.
Probably. Now, I always get
the
the definitions wrong between play and summon. Which one acts whenever anything is
summon.
like...
So, if you summon a minion through a death rattle, a hero power, anything like that...
Implosion.
Yes, that is summon. Play is when you literally play it from your hand. Like, you use up mana to play it.
Alright.
Next up is another Warlock. 2 mana 3/2. Battle Cry, discard a random card. Death Rattle, draw a card.
It's weird. In like a game like Magic the Gathering, you could see that being used, but here, no.
It's bad. Like, really bad. The stats don't make up for having to discard a random card. Like, cool, it works with Fist of Jiraxis and that one other card that when you discard a card, it
The
does
evil
something.
imp thing.
Yeah. But besides that, it's a horrible card, really. Absolutely.
Oh, we forgot the most important change coming with not Wrath of the Old Gods. Whispers of the Old Gods. Wrath of the Old Gods is a fucking Dark Souls miracle. They're getting rid of the thanks emote.
Oh yeah, they're changing it to WoW, aren't they?
Yep.
World
Astonishing.
of Warcraft.
It's the greatest change.
I suppose. Next up, we got a neutral minion. 5 mana 3/6 with Battlecry. Swap stats with a friendly minion.
Bad.
It could be okay, but that's only if you get something like, if you get it to an Imp Gang boss or like a Dragon Egg, it's decent. But at the same time, you're not gaining enough stats.
I don't know what their obsession is with making legendary effects on neutral minions with less stats. Like Hogger and fucking Obsidian Destroyer. And this thing with... I've honestly forgotten what this card is already.
Wait, what's Obsidian Destroyer?
The fucking warrior specific, like 7 mana something or other. Summon a 1/1 Scarab with Taunt.
Oh, that one.
Basically the Hogger effect.
Dark Speaker. I think you're thinking about Vol'jin with that.
Yeah, Vol'jin.
Yeah. Alright. Dark Speaker. It's okay. Like, you have to use it on specific minions for it to even think about getting any value off of it. Next up, we have...
I'm getting tired. Lightning around this shit.
Alright, Divine Strength. Give a minion +1/+2. Paladin. Worst Felons. Done. Alright, Doomcaller. 8 mana, 7/9. Neutral. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2. And if it is dead, shuffle it into your deck.
Good. Really good. Holy shit.
You play it in every Cthulhu deck, no matter what. It's so much engine. Good.
Hope it doesn't get polymorphed, basically.
Basically. Duskboar. 2 mana, 4/1. Neutral. Beast. Horrible. Done.
Yep.
Eldritch Horror. 8 mana, 6/10. Neutral. Pretty good.
Yeah, 6/10. It's okay. Can't be fucking BGH'd.
Yeah, that's the best part about it. Next up, we got 2 mana 3/2 Warlock. Wait, no, Shaman. Shaman has Overload, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Battlecry. Unlock your overloaded mana crystals.
Since
Better than
Love Shock's being rotated, yeah.
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's also better than Lava Shock, so yeah.
It is.
Next one. Shaman. 1 mana.
Is
Transform
it?
your...
Was that
No,
introduced
no.
in Blackrock?
Actually,
It might have been.
Now.
I don't know. It's still better than Lava Shock.
Well, if it was introduced in Blackrock, then it's not rotating out.
Yeah.
It was introduced in Blackrock, so yeah, it's not rotating out yet.
Never mind. It's still better, though.
Yeah.
Because you also get a minion.
Yeah, that's the best part about it. Plus the deal 2 damage. I mean, you can deal 2 damage to face, but what does that accomplish? Anyway, next one is 1 mana Shaman card. Transform your minions into random minions that cost 1 more.
Holy fucking shit, it's good.
Yeah. Amazing, even.
They're pushing this, like, evolution theme with Shaman, and it's amazing.
I mean, it's great because you could potentially just, like, oh, I don't have anything else to do. Hero power. Hero power. Hero power. And then you have, like, 3 1-mana cards that you can just be like, be 2 mana. Done. Awesome. Great. Awesome
Or,
card.
like, you get a fucking, Karen Bloodhoof down to the 2nd stage, and it's like now a 4/1 because it's been hit, but not killed for some reason. Master of Evolution.
Upgrade for 1 mana. Why not?
Yep.
I would say better than the Master of Evolution.
It's odd because you can say it's kind of objectively bad because you don't know what you're getting, but at the same time it's also going up a mana. It's still objectively bad, but it's also generally theoretically going to be good.
You could change from a chill one to a heal bot, but
yeah,
again,
see,
the situations like those are so rare that
heal bot's rotating out.
yeah. Whatever.
I feel like a lot of the I think Goblins versus Gnomes introduced a lot of like higher mana cards with lower stats because of effects.
Yeah, because of battle cries.
So it could be getting more value.
True. Next up we have the Evolved Kobold. 4 mana 2/2 with spell damage +2. Shit. Like, it's worse than the Ogre Magi because you're losing like 4 stat points. And it's also worse than the Frozen Snowball because you're losing 4 stat points. Like, the one spell damage.
Snowball.
The 1 spell damage is not worth it. Next up, 10 mana 10/10. Horrible. Done.
It passes the vanilla test.
Like, cool. It has enough attack and health for its mana cost. Cool. So
Maybe
many better cards.
play it in arena.
If you need a big minion, yeah. Next up, Fandral Staghelm. Your choose 1 cards have both effects combined.
Holy fucking shit.
Amazing.
By the way, did you hear what happens if you get, like, choose of, like, with Druid of the Claw, for instance? They made a minion specific to, like, both of them combined. So it's a new card art.
That's awesome.
If you'd watch that fucking stream, you'd hear that.
Oh, that's cool. Like, I'm looking at the card arts now. It's cool.
Send me the link, because I want to see.
Hang on.
So that's, dedication. You gotta think, like, every time they come out with an expansion, they have to think about what this does with old cards. I imagine it's quite hard to make expansions.
It will be under cards relating to Fandral Staghelm. Like, we got the Druid of the Claw, Druid of the Flame. Nice. Those are cool.
I forgot Druid of the Flame was a thing. Oh, there's only 3? It's really fucking good, though.
Amazing card. Also, its stat line is awesome as well. You losing 1 attack for that effect, it's way worth it.
A 5 mana 4/6 charge Taunt Beast is pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Alright, next up, 3 mana Druid card, Feral Rage. Choose 1. Give your hero +4 attack this turn, or gain 8 armor. I would say it's a better healing touch, even though you only heal your face, because it's a preemptive heal. Or you could use it as a heroic strike, which options.
Yeah,
Also can combine with Vandal Stack Helm. Cool.
I guess.
Next up, we have Fiery Bat Hunter card. 1 mana, 2/1. Deal 1 damage to a random enemy.
So do you know the thing behind this deck?
Fire
this
Bat
card?
won the World Championship, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's his honorary card, which is pretty awesome, considering it's literally a Fire Bat.
Fiery Bat.
Yeah. Great on turn 1. After that, meh. Next up, we have the Flame Wreathed Faceless. 4 mana, 7/7. This is for Shaman, by the way. Overload 2. Oh my
There's
god.
no reason for this card to exist because it's way too fucking good.
Like, it's amazing.
It's
Like
basically
7/7?
what Shaman was set out to be with the overload mechanic, except
Yeah.
they fucking forgot they were supposed to give it overload.
They went overboard with this one, and it shows. Like, holy
The
shit.
only way this thing gets punished is with BGH, who got nerfed.
But, yeah. Plus, they're playing it on turn 4 because it's 4 mana, and BGH is 5, so yeah.
The
That's-
only bad thing about it is the evolution effect is not as good as what it would be if you just healed it.
It's still amazing, though. Like,
There's
it's just,
no drawback to playing that.
yeah, it's just great.
Especially since there's so many combo cards with overload.
Yeah.
Tunnel
It's-
Trogs, Unbound Elementals, turn 4, this shit.
Yeah, Face Shaman, like, Shaman's probably gonna be... Shaman's
It
gonna be
doesn't
the new
matter
Druid.
what kind of Shaman you play. Control Shaman, anything. You're playing that card.
Control, mid-range, face, like, all of them benefit from this.
Because it's just a fucking insane stat line.
Yeah. So yeah, this is another reason that Shaman is gonna be like the new Druid. You can almost guarantee that it's gonna be in. Like, you can almost guarantee that Shaman's gonna be the most popular class because it's gonna be the best class, probably. Next up, we got the Forbidden cards. Well,
Gosh, they're like almost all bad.
Forbidden Ritual and Forbidden Healing are good.
Forbidden Ritual is one where you summon tentacles, is it not?
Yep. It's good. Like, the reason I say it's good is because if you're playing Zoo, you want a lot of tokens, and let's say that you, like, run out of tokens. Like, hey, more tokens. Like, the point of Zoo is to get a bunch of minions out and then buff those minions. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Forbidden Ancient Druid card costs 1 mana. It's a 1/1, but spend all your mana. Gain +1/+1 for each mana spent.
Bad.
Turn 1 it's a 1/1. Turn 2 it's 2/2. Turn 3 3/3, 4/4, 5/5, etc. Bad. Yeah.
And for anyone asking about the math on that, because it is 1 mana, it is a 1/1, so it works off like that.
Yeah. So you spend the 1 mana, and then it spends your remaining mana for it. Bad. Just doesn't do enough. Passes the vanilla test.
There
that's bad.
are fucking, like in Magic the Gathering, there are cards that work like this. I even play them. They're like, basically, you have the lands, which are mana, and you tap as many as you want and give it 1/1 counters based on that. They basically take up the whole turn, and it's like, was it really worth it? Not really.
No. Next up, we got the Forlorn Stalker. 3 mana, 4/2, Battlecry, give all Death Rattle minions in your hand +1/+1.
Now, you think, okay, firstly, there's a few factors to this that make it good and bad. Its stat line is basically old BGH, which is not bad. This thing is definitely going to trade into something, which for a 3 mana card, that's pretty good. So
Yeah.
you think, okay, it has the added bonus of giving 1/1 a Death Rattle. Is that good? Not really.
It needs
Because
to
firstly, a lot of Death Rattle is rotating out. And secondly, you kind of want Death Rattle to die.
It also needs to hit at least 2 Death Rattle minions in your hand for it to be worth it. And if it doesn't do that,
I don't think
then,
so. I think I would play that just for its stat line.
The thing is, though, that there's a lot of better 3-drops in this.
Well, if I know I'm playing a reasonable amount of Death Rattle anyway, it's like, okay, I don't mind giving them attack and health. It's like I'd play that just because I could. Its attack is good enough to trade into something, taunt maybe.
I suppose. Next up, we got the Grotesque Dragonhawk, 7 mana, 5/5 Wind Fury Beast. Horrible.
Not good. It's kind of like that one card that's existed since vanilla.
The 6 mana 4/5 with Wind Fury.
Yeah.
You get the Beast and 1 extra attack. That's not worth it. Like, cool, you can Beast your Wrath it. It's now a 7/5.
I mean, it's potentially worth it if you play it. Is it card specific? Class specific?
Neutral.
I mean, Hunters can do it.
Yeah.
Beast Hunter could do that.
Just not good enough. It's just...
In Beast Hunter. Generally not good. Beast Hunter, totally good.
Yeah, it's better than Beast Hunter. Because Beast Hunter runs a lot of buffs, so... Oh, buff attack, yay.
Buff and Rhino.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Hooded Acolyte. 4 mana, 3/6 Priest specific. Whenever a character is healed, give your Cthulhu +1/+1.
It's the Priest obligatory card.
Yeah. Like, oh hey, if you're playing Cthulhu, you play that Priest.
Priest got almost nothing substantial.
Not that I've found, no. Like, ooh, they got Power Word Tentacles. Give them minion
Yeah.
+2/+6.
Fucking Anduin Rin's just been fucking watching hentai.
Yeah. It's not good enough at all. Like, you don't get the spell damage. You're playing 2 extra mana for 2 extra health and no spell damage. It's not good enough.
Power Tentacles is okay situationally.
But at the same time...
What is the stats on Tentacles again?
+2/+6.
Like, that's significant.
I mean, yeah, the health is significant, but it costs 5 mana.
Well, think about it like this. You put it on a Leper Gnome, you suddenly got a 3/7.
It's still, though, like 6 mana for a 3/7.
Yeah, well. On other minions, you know, like if you put that on a taunt, you're basically making your own Death Lords.
If you put it on a taunt, great, but still just Next up, we got the Infested Wolf. 4 mana, 3/3. Death Rattle, summon 2 1/1 spiders. All the spiders that are spawned are beasts. Yeah. And also the Infested Wolf is a beast.
It's again, great. Beast Warrior.
5/5 worth of stats for 4 above the curve. Death Rattle, having it split up across multiple bodies is good. And all beasts, so beast energy. Yeah, good. Great. Journey Below. 1 mana rogue card. Discover a Death Rattle card. If Death Rattle's gonna work in the standard format, it's gonna work in rogue.
As it probably should have from the beginning.
Like, without a doubt. Like, they're trying to push it in Hunter, but Hunter just doesn't have the Death Rattle cards that are good enough.
He's the only one with Feigned Death. Like, neutral minions are really where fucking Feigned Death Hunter shines.
Yeah. They just don't have enough. Next up...
Wasn't it like Princess Hoo-Hoo or something?
Hoo-Hoo-Don, yeah. That triggers friendly minions' Death Rattle effect. It costs too much, and the stat line is... Like, it just costs too much. If it was a lower cost, lower stats, it would be much more playable, but because of its high cost, it's just not. Next up, we got Malkorok. 7 mana, 6/5, Battlecry, equip a random weapon. Outside of Cursed Blade, great.
To some extent, what's that one paladin one? Light's Justice?
I mean, yeah, but even that's better than a Curse Blade, let's be honest.
Eh.
Next up, we got Nyat, the Dark Fisher. 2 mana, 2/4. At the start of your opponent's turn, they have a 50% chance to draw an extra card.
2 mana what?
2/4.
No.
If it was a 3/4, sure. But as a 2/4, no. But
Neutral, I suppose?
yeah, neutral. You could play it in mill decks, but even then, it's not that good.
I wonder if there'll be a Pagel, corrupted Pagel interaction with the cards.
Like a Pagel, corrupted Pagel interaction?
Yeah.
Possibly. Next up, we got the Nerubian Prophet. 6 mana, 4/4. Whoa. But at the start of your turn, reduce this card's cost by 1.
Good.
Yep.
Ish.
If you get in your first hand, you keep it there. You
Play
can,
back turn 4.
or you could just wait until like turn 10, where you play like one of the old gods and then this along with it.
Yeah.
To just like, oh, I have this big body. You can clear that big body? Alright, here's another 4/4 to deal with as well. Good. Next up is On the Hunt. 1 mana Hunter spell. Deal 1 damage, summon a 1/1 Mastiff. If the Mastiff had charge, this card would be awesome. Otherwise, it's just okay. The Mastiff...
Is Mastiff like a character or something? Because I don't understand what a Mastiff is.
It's a beast. 1/1 beast.
I mean, if you need a beast on the field to trigger, like, any of the Hunter cards, it's okay.
Yeah. It's just that it would be better if the Mastiff... Like, if the Mastiff had charge, then this would be awesome.
Well, we know their stance on charge currently.
Yeah. Right now, it's just okay. Next up, we have Primal Fusion. Give a minion +1/+1 for each of your totems.
They really want totems to be a thing, but I don't even think they added any totem minions.
They're just not good enough to have this be good. Next up, we have a Priest weapon. 3 mana, 3/2 weapon. Battlecry, give +1/+1 to your minions with Divine Shield.
Divine Shield really isn't a thing.
There's potential. Like, for instance, there's that new card where if you play a minion with 1 health, it gains Divine Shield. But other than that, I don't think it has enough value going for it. Like, it's a fiery war axe, sure, but for an extra mana, you get that pitiful effect of like, oh, Divine Shield minions have +1/+1.
They're trying to push Divine Shields, which pushes Blood Knight.
Yep. Next up, we have the Selfless Hero. 1 mana, 2/1, give a random friendly minion Divine Shield. Sweet.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, sure. Paladin specific, by the way. Next up, we have Shadow Strike. 3 mana rogue spell. Deal 5 damage to an undamaged character. It can go face. It's basically an upgraded backstab.
Yeah.
I would say it's above average.
This is still a podcast.
Yeah, it's not just okay, it's above average. I say it's above average because it's it can go face as well, so it has that going for it. Yeah. Above average, not too great. Next up, we got a mage spell, 2 mana, destroy a frozen minion. No. Just no.
No reason.
Yeah, like if you're playing a Frost Nova, you're either trying to hold out your opponent or playing Doomsayer. And
I mean, there's like Frostlance fucking combos.
Yeah,
but...
if you run Ice Lance though, then you want to save. if you're running Ice Lance, you're playing Freeze Mage, so you want to save the Ice Lance
Not
for your Freeze Mage
necessarily.
combo. Like, Ice Lance is basically only used in fucking... Like, if you were to use Shadow, you would use it in conjunction with Frost Nova, but not in Ice Lance.
Well, Ice Lance has value now.
Yeah, I mean, it buffs the freeze cards, but not by much.
Some people run,
Next up,
variations on Frost Mage by not playing Doomsayer and just playing the damaging ones, and they take the fucking Lancers as face damage.
next up we got the Silithid Swarmer. 3 mana, 3/5. Can only attack if your hero attacked this turn. Awesome in Rogue. Druid, I suppose, but more over Rogue because you can just weapon up turn 2 and then play this turn 3. Or, just prepare for it much easier. Because you can just play the weapon and then keep it. Next up, we got Rogue Pirate, 4 mana, 4/4. Give your weapon +2 attack, Death Rattle.
No.
With Blade Flurry nerfs, no. Next up, we got a 3 mana, 2/4 with Taunt. Neutral minion. Okay. That's about it. It's not even a beast. So, meh.
And a Bolster Warrior, maybe.
Next up, we got Stormcrack, 2 mana Shaman spell. Deal 4 damage to a minion. If you're playing control or mid-range, it's a lot better than a Crackle. Because consistency, I suppose.
I guess.
Overload 1, by the way.
I mean,
say it.
The chances that you get something over 4 damage on Crackle are still pretty good.
I mean, it's a 3 and...
Is Crackle being rotated out?
It is.
That's why.
At least it should be. I'm fairly sure it was GBG. Yeah,
I think
GBG.
it was.
Yeah, GBG. So, replacement for Crackle, basically. Next up, we got 6 mana, 5/5 Shaman card. With Taunt, cost 1 less for each totem you've summoned this game. Now, summon,
Once
not
again,
played,
pushing
so...
totems. Oh, but that's really good.
Yeah, it works off your hero power. It's basically a better Frost Giant. Because
It's
Frost
a more
Giant costs...
accessible Frost Giant.
Yeah, Frost Giant just costs so much.
Of course, Frost Giant doesn't fucking work off of Tuskar Totemics.
Yeah, that as well. Next up, we got Twilight Darkmender, 5 mana, 6/5 Battlecry. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, restore 10 health to your hero. This is also Priest.
Really good.
Yeah,
I don't know how good Cthulhu Priest is, but that effect by itself.
Okay. Yeah, the effect itself is great. If you run Cthulhu, you run this, definitely. In Priest, anyway. We got the 2 mana, 1/4 Taunt. Battlecry, give your Cthulhu Taunt.
Pretty good,
I mean,
actually. Cthulhu with Taunt is pretty good.
Not really, because Cthulhu basically already has Taunt. Like, leaving a body like that on the board is just so bad to do. That Cthulhu usually has, like, a soft Taunt. Like, obviously, if your opponent has lethal by attacking your face, they're going to attack your face, but giving it Taunt doesn't have much purpose.
I don't know, 16/16 with Taunt's pretty good.
The thing with Cthulhu is that minions are probably not going to be able to kill it. Like, it's probably going to be in the 18 attack range, 16 attack range, that health as well, by the time it gets played, which means that minions are probably not going to be on the field anyway, because they probably got killed by Cthulhu's effect.
I guess.
And you're gonna need like a silence or like a kill or something to get rid of Cthulhu. Like you really need that. Like you really just gonna need a spell to get rid of him. Anyway, next up is Twin Emperor Velclor, 7 mana, 4/6 with taunt. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, summon another Emperor. Yes, of course, awesome. You need taunts in Cthulhu decks. That's a great taunt because it splits it across 2 bodies. That's 8/12 worth of stats. Awesome. Yes, run it. Do it.
You know, I just realized something.
Uh-huh.
You know how you have those cards that come from the fucking Frandil Staghelm?
Frandil Staghelm? Who?
The fucking Druid legendary? Both the effects combined?
Uh-huh.
There was no picture for the double uprooted and rooted fucking...
there wasn't. Be a 10/10. Ooh.
10/10 with taunts. Pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Twisted Worgen, 2 mana, 3/1 with stealth. Sure. You're paying an extra mana for an extra attack. I don't think it's worth it.
Not really.
Sure. Otherwise, no. Next up, we got the Usher of Souls, 5 mana, 5/6. Awesome stat line, by the way. Whenever a friendly minion dies, give you Cthulhu +1/+1. This is also a Warlock card.
Yeah.
It's a straight up meh. Potential, but not very.
I guess so.
And then our last card, we made it. 1 mana, 1/1. Give a random friendly minion +1/+1.
Wait, say it again?
1 mana, 1/1. Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion +1/+1. I know there's a lot of ones in that sentence.
I don't know about that. Was it class specific?
Nope, neutral.
I'd probably run that as a Warlock.
In a zoo deck, yeah. Now wasn't that great? There was anger, there was frustration, there was arguing, ranting, a guy left in the middle, there was information, there was Hearthstone, there was mana, there was commentary. Yo, I think that was pretty decent. I think we all agree here, right, Joey? Yeah, Joey agrees. Say hi, Joey. Good night, shade. He doesn't. No, stop. He doesn't say it like that. I say it like I'm a dummy. Alright, I'm sorry for wasting your time. Thank you all for watching. I'm still really bad at outros.